Hello, welcome to a very short video, hopefully, although I have 7 minutes on my battery on my camera. I thought I'd sit down and film a quick video on the Oscars for this year, 2018 Academy Awards. I did do a live stream, like 20-25 minute live stream, going through all the nominations and predicting who I think would win. But the quality was just dog shit, and it just really bothered me. Like, my face was freezing, it just looked awful, so I unlisted it, I took it down. I think some people were still able to watch it through some links or something, but either way, I just thought I can't be bothered. So I thought I'd do a quick kind of, not review, but just my thoughts on the Oscars this year and the awards and so on. I did watch the entire thing. I managed to be able to watch it on Now TV, the Sky Cinema thing. There was a free trial, so that was kind of convenient. I enjoyed it, you know. There was a few awards I was disappointed in, but certainly just straight up, I love the Oscars. I love the pomp and circumstance of it. I love the history of it, the legacy of it, you know, like going back to 1928, 1929 when they held the first ceremony, and, you know, one of my favorite actresses ever, Janet Gaynor, won the first award for Best Actress, and Sunrise won, you know, Outstanding Artistic Picture and so on. You know, I love the history of it and all that kind of stuff, and celebrating some of the best films of the previous year. And again, I could go into a whole rant about how they only release films in like December, January for Oscar contention. I hate that stuff. And yes, it's true that, you know, these studios spend millions of dollars pushing these films to get nominated. So you're never really looking at, you know, this is the definitive best performance or best film of the year. That's never going to happen. But more often than not, they are great films that win. I really wish Faces Place had won for Best Documentary, because Agnes Varda was the oldest person ever nominated for a competitive Oscar. Would have been great to see her win it. She's not going to get that chance again. But the film was so great, you know. Again, I don't feel like Oscars validate anything. They're just fun, and it's nice to see people that you enjoy and whose work you enjoy get their moment. So Best Score, I feel should have gone to Johnny Greenwood for Phantom Thread. I would have liked to see John Williams win for The Last Jedi, but that was never going to happen. Visual effects I was really bummed out by. Blade Runner looks incredible, but there's one thing to do that kind of special effects, but it's a whole other thing to do what they did with War for the Planet of the Apes, and Dawn for the Planet of the Apes, and Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and they only got better as the trilogy went on, but I really feel like they needed to win that, and I knew they wouldn't. My prediction was Blade Runner, and I was right, but you know, that looks like a real ape. You know, the hair, when it gets matted with the snow and the rain, unbelievable. And we're not just talking about best visual effects of the year, we're talking about best visual effects ever, you know. I'm not saying it's the best ever, but it's among the best ever done, in my opinion. So that was that. Best film, I was surprised. I thought Three Billboards was going to take it. Was very happy to see Shape of Water win, and for Best Director. Loved that film, and I'm going to review it at some point once I've seen it for a second time. Love Guillermo del Toro, such a genuine, kind-hearted person, and it's so cool to see someone like that get an award. Jordan Peele winning from Get Out was really good to see. Not the biggest fan of the film. Again, I have my issues with it. I'm looking forward to seeing it again now, seeing if my opinion has changed. But it's great to see a horror film, you know, win for Best Screenplay. That's really cool. Best Adapted Screenplay was Call Me By Your Name. Love that film. No problem with that. Again, would have liked to see Logan win, but that again was never going to be a serious contender. Coco, animated film. That was really the only choice, I think. I haven't seen all of them yet, unfortunately. And I'm gutted I haven't seen all the foreign films. I usually see all the foreign films and hardly any of the Best Pictures, but it was the complete reverse this year. Anything I would have liked to have seen, Sally Hawkins. Again, she had no chance with Frances McDormand because her performance was more of a powerhouse performance, and it's one of those ones they love to reward. Sally Hawkins is much more nuanced and impressive to me, and beautiful, and I really wish she'd won it. It really disappointed me, even though the film that, you know, she's very much a big part of and is the center of, you know, won Best Film. That was great, but I'm not sure if Guillermo kind of gave her a shout during his speeches, but either way, that was one I really wanted to see, but, you know, it is what it is. And Best Actor, Gary Oldman, he was great as Churchill. I disagree. Some people say, oh, he disappeared into the role. It looks like an old kind of fat Gary Oldman to me. Like, yeah, it looked a little bit like Churchill, and he acted very good as Churchill, but it, you know, it certainly didn't disappear. The makeup was very impressive, don't get me wrong, but I certainly felt like I was watching Gary Oldman. And he did a very good job, but I felt like Daniel Day-Lewis was so much more impressive and drew me in so much more. into the film out of all the nominees for Best Actor. And I've never seen another Daniel Day-Lewis performance, so I have no bias of him being the best actor of all time. I just saw Phantom Thread and was kind of knocked out by it, and still, it is still lingering in my head in his performance. So I would have liked to have seen that, also because I like to see records broken, and he would have been like, I think, an all-time winner with 4 Oscars there. Anyway, what else is there really? Cinematography, was really happy that Roger Deakins won that. Loved his very British, kind of almost blasé acceptance speech. That was great. And yeah, that's about it really, I suppose. I was happy with the winners. It was all very predictable. Sam Rockwell, awesome. Very glad he won for that. Alison Janney, you know, I thought she was really good, but I didn't think it was the best out of the best supporting. I would have really liked to have seen Laurie Metcalf win that one, but it is what it is. She was still very good in I, Tonya, I have to say, but there's more nuance to something. Like, I think of Laurie Metcalf in Lady Bird, and that scene at the end when she's driving away from the airport, that shot alone, forget even scene, did so much more for me than the entire Alison Janney's performance. Again, she's very good, but you know, we all have our favourites, and that's it. And I think most people, well, I think everyone who won, you know, hey, you made a film, you pretty much deserve an award. But you know, it seemed like it was a good, just doling out of some awards. And you know, the show itself is always going to be a little bit of a drag. It was nice to see it without the American adverts, to be fair, because they had the British panel. There was like Alex Zane and a few other kind of movie critics kind of doing a round table during every ad break. So it kind of it split up the just intolerable American ads that I usually see when I find an online stream for like whatever channel they show it in America on. So that was a plus. But yeah, that's it. It's, you know, I enjoy. Okay, well, we'll leave it here. The montage, the 90 years of Oscars montage, was incredible. Absolutely stellar work, whoever did that. The editing was unbelievable, and just a great trip through the history of cinema. Some great silent movie clips. I wish there'd been more, but you know, Metropolis, Wings, and Sunrise, really cool to see those movies in there, and just the way the dialogue was used and music was used kind of bugged me a little bit, because I've had this big project in my head for a long time now that's similar to that, and it uses the Interstellar music that they use, and I was like, oh my god, they're stealing my idea. But it'll be different when I finally get to that. But so many great match cuts there as well, and linking of visual themes and stuff. Very emotional. Thought it was very well done, and probably my favourite moment of the night, actually. So, and it was cool to see Mark Hamill there in the cast of The Last Jedi, even if the comments about them online made me want to, you know, just nuke half of the Star Wars fandom from orbit. But that's all other situations. That was my thoughts on the Oscars, very briefly. I was happy with it mostly and overall. What did you think of them? Leave your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next video.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.